focus and let's talk about what's happening within the entire shipping sector, and that clearly is poised for this mega Atmanirbhar push even further. Let me welcome on board G. Shivakumar, the Executive Director and CFO at G Shipping, joining in on the show right now. Mr. Shivakumar, hi, morning. Great to have you on ET Now once again. Tell me, how does this 69,700 plus crore rupee government package for shipbuilding and maritime infrastructure change really the competitive landscape for Indian shipping companies? And what part of this opportunity do you think is going to trickle down to GE Shipping, if at all?
Good morning, and thank you for having me. First, we welcome the recognition of shipping as an important and critical industry for the Indian economy. Apart from that, we don't really have details of what is proposed under the 70,000 crore package. We will await those details before we can really figure out how it's going to affect us. In general, the news seems to be good, but we don't have enough details to say how it will affect us or how it will be good for us. But in general, I suppose it should be good.
It is, but we'll wait for those details. Let me focus also in on the Baltic Dry Index, Mr. Shivakumar, which has now surged to a 22-month high, right? And nearly 3 times of what it was at in 2025 lows. Has this strength already translated into higher numbers for you? And do you believe this momentum is sustainable in FY26, given the global demand backdrop?
So the Baltic Dry Index, as you say, has certainly gone up a lot from its lows of the year. Here we need to also remember that there is some element of seasonality associated with it. Typically, the first quarter of the calendar year is very weak, and then it picks up during the year, towards the middle to second half of the year. So there is some seasonality here. However, it has been quite strong and stronger than many market participants anticipated. This is apparently due to increased coal imports into China. They've been putting some restrictions on local coal mines after some accidents happened there, which means that there's more coal being imported. Also, we've seen iron ore prices going up. There's a little bit more demand. I think steel margins also in China have gone up, which means more demand for iron ore. So those two factors played a part in taking these rates up, because there was more demand for ships. It's difficult to forecast. Again, a lot of these things can just get reversed at very short notice. So it's difficult to forecast whether this will last through next year. All we can do is enjoy the higher rates while they last, really. And our ships are in the spot market, and therefore they get the benefit of a lot of these rate improvements.
Well, indeed, we hope that does transpire like this. Mr. Shivakumar, morning, this is Shrishti also joining in. But talk to us about the crude tanker trade growth. Seems to be it's flat globally while the fleet additions continue. What are you picking up with respect to the demand and supply scenario over there?
Good morning, Shrishti. The crude tanker market has actually seen some excitement in the last 3 or 4 weeks. OPEC has been bringing back oil into the market. You remember they had cut their production a couple of years ago by 2 million barrels a day. They've been bringing that production back on stream starting in the middle of 2025. That's now starting to have its effect, because there's just more oil on the water, therefore more demand for ships. While stocks had been drawn down a little bit over the last couple of years, now people are back to building up the stocks. And that's why the oil is moving again. So crude tanker market, especially for the very large crude carriers, we don't have those ships, have gone up quite a lot. At some point, it'll trickle down to the smaller sizes. It has not yet done so. Usually, if the market stays this firm, it will have its effect on other types of ships as well. So the crude tanker market is pretty strong. The refined products market, not so strong. It's around where it was a couple of months ago, last quarter. So that has not yet really picked up in any big way. there's some marginal improvements, but not a big amount.
Okay, so point taken, Mr. Shivakumar. And let's talk about tanker asset prices because they have remained largely flat even as freight indices have strengthened. Does this disconnect present any opportunity or any entry point for fleet expansion for you, or are you inclined to remain conservative with your capital deployment?
So we are likely to remain conservative as we have been over the last 3 years or so. We are doing the minimum purchases or acquisitions that we need to do to maintain our capacity. While we have a capacity to buy a lot of ships, the financial capacity to buy a lot of ships, we are reserving that for when prices are more attractive and we can get good value buys. So what we're doing is just maintaining our capacity for now and just keeping our money in reserve.
Right. But in the offshore business, Mr. Shivakumar, how are pricing trends or repricing trends evolving for rigs and support vessels? And are you seeing any signs of recovery in day rates that could perhaps improve earnings visibility for you?
So the last pricing we had in India for a long-term contract was significantly lower than 2 years ago. There was a little bit of a blip in the rigs, jackup rig market last year when Saudi Aramco dehired several rigs. So in total about 24 or 25. And that changed the sentiment in the rig market, which meant that the rates came down a lot. This happened, so the last pricing happened about 3-4 months ago. We haven't seen a pricing since then. The mood internationally is that the markets are a little more positive now after having absorbed that shock, but we haven't seen a repricing yet. We'll know it the next time we have a local tender. As far as the supply vessels go, demand continues to be fairly firm. All the repricings that we have done in the last year or so have been significantly higher than their previous pricings. So the vessels, it's sort of two different stories. The vessels are doing quite well. The rigs suffered because of the pricing drop that happened.
All right, Mr. Shivakumar, with this, we'll let you go on that. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with us and helping us understand what's really panning out in the shipping sector on the ground. Thank you so much for